My name is Mr. Stemkin, and I did my Smartboard lesson 2nd grade, Chapter 1, Lesson 5, and I did it on the different ways to write numbers. For the reflection of the previous lesson, for this example, the students understood the lesson fairly well. In the last lesson, they went over expanded form and talked about how expanded form would equal standard form, and I think they were ready to move on to the next lesson. So for the lesson standard, it is read and write numbers to 1,000 using base 10 numerals, number names, and expanded form. And then this is just a link to the standard site. For the objectives, most of them are the same, but after the lesson, students will be able to write numbers in standard form with 100% accuracy. And then also it's the same too, but with just expanded form and word form. The materials needed for this would be the smartboard, a computer. Students would need their textbook. Each student would have their own set of base 10 blocks, and each student would have a paper and pencil. And then some contextual factors. For this example, all the students really thrive with hands-on learning activities. And there's a few that need to be extra prompted to join in discussions. And I kind of threw in that the students were coming back from morning recess, so to start of the lesson they need to really be engaged so that they're not off topic. Here's the introduction of this is the actual lesson. So this is just kind of the attention getting strategy. Clap twice if you're reading and ready to learn. You just wait until each student claps. Kind of talk about a little bit about the prior lesson with the expanded form, and then I threw this in an example just for the reflection. The students could write this in expanded form, which would just be 60 plus 6. And then here's this, and it just kind of explains for the teacher that would use this lesson. For this is just a short little video I thought was kind of interesting. It's a place value song video, and it's a parody off the Taylor Swift song Shake It Off. It's gonna play. So many ways to write. And it's just kind of an interesting little video. You wouldn't have to watch the whole 3 minutes and 35 seconds if you didn't. It kind of goes into higher numbers than what the second graders would maybe learn, but it would also just catch their attention and make them kind of want to learn about it. And then to finish up the introduction, you'd kind of give them a little preview of what they're going to learn and a little need to know, and then an example of each of the 3 forms of numbers, you just right there. And then for the lesson, this is kind of just another attention getter. It would be the first example, and it'd be, Bob went to the grocery store and bought 24 apples. Can you show the number 24 in blocks? So the students would take out their base 10 blocks and make 24 in the base 10 blocks. And then if you wanted, you could have the students move these into groups up at the board if you wanted to show it another way. And then you could also use this. This is an online from the Math Learning Center where you could show them, here's 24 in the base 10 blocks just to correct their answer. And if you wanted to use more problems, you could just think of numbers in their head if they're struggling, and you could keep using this. It's pretty easy to use. And then another example for all 3 forms, to help the students, you can just roll the dice, and then it's 12, so they would write the standard form, the word form, and the expanded form of 12. And you could just keep going until you think all your students have an understanding. And then this one is from their worksheet that they would get at the end of the lesson that's off of the book. And it's just kind of how it is worded in the assignment. So they would get the number 54, and they would have to write it, the word form, right, how many tens, how many ones, so it'd be 5 tens and 4 ones. Then they would just write 50 plus 4. And then here's another one, but this time they have to figure out that the number is 16 from having 1 10 and 6 ones, and they have to write the 2, the 10 plus 6. This one is one that it said that the students might get confused because 1 is here, so they might just write 1 there instead of 10. So for the closure, I think you wrap it up with a little what did we learn today, have the students talk about the 3 forms and have them give an example of each one. Put down here their worksheet is in the back of the class just so they know where to go find it. And then to finish it up, you'd have the exit ticket, in which all the students would fill in their math journals for the day, and then if they get done faster than the others, it says in there quietly read a book or do their word crosswords. But and they just have to fill out all the different forms and then a little bit from the assignment. So for the assessments in this lesson, it'd be the discussions that you have, the exit ticket, and then the worksheet. And then the extra examples within the lesson could be assessments as well to make sure that they're following. For differentiated instruction, some students will be prompted to come to the board so they can be more hands-on and in front of the class. And you'd want to prompt the students that are generally quiet so that you can kind of get a general understanding of where they're at as well. And then for my resource, I used the math book, and then there's the link to the YouTube video I used. Thank you.